Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the talk show. This is a re-record because last one had audio issues, which is fun. And anyway, we have a different set of guests. One of them you may recognize, which is M from the last episode.
It's
We
me, that
have
ugly green idiot you remember from last time. Probably. Or not, if you didn't
oh,
watch it.
and then we have Blue, who's streaming in VR chat at the moment, as well
Yes.
as in call. And then we have Justice, a friend of mine from a long time ago.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everybody.
Blue is, you might know them from TikTok, M from Twitch, Justice, me. If you come across them on VR chat, then VR chat. Other than that, that's everybody. And then there's myself. You already know. Anyway,
Star of the show and the prettiest of the bunch.
yes.
Careful, I think you yanked your tongue there a little bit, Blue Boy.
It always goes to the side. It's
The
weird.
reason I'm not actually doing my VC face today is because one, I don't have the bright lighting right now. Number two, I just don't feel like it. But that beside the point, brings us to our first question of the show, and it's like we're all furries here, all the four of us, and we always get asked this question. At least I get asked this question, and furries, what are they and why does society sometimes hold negative perceptions of them? For me, you guys know my answer to that question. I answered it in the last couple of episodes. But these other guys don't. The hit that's here with me today doesn't know what that answer is. So it's just my perception of my my answer to that question would be that furries, I mean, it's the serotonin that people sometimes don't like whenever people go to fur conventions. Like, um, what's that virtual VR chat one?
The virtual phones or
V-
virality?
Furality. A lot of people that do not have access to go to physical cons go to the virtual con that's known as as Furality in VR chat, which Blue's currently in VR chat, just not in Furality. Those happen more often than actual conventions. The actual conventions happen once a year, depending on which one it is. Like, I just, I'm a part of the staff of TFF, which is in Dallas. I'm thinking about going to Anthrocon next year, but that's down the road, and that's a thing I have to see about. And then
Yeah.
in all total, counting virtual and physical for conventions, I've been to 8 of them. So I don't know about these other guys, how many conventions they've been to, whether virtual or physical. And I just know there's a lot of fun.
I've been to none of them. Ever.
I think,
Not even the virtual ones.
I
I've
think,
only been to Ferality before, twice actually, because I had gone to Ferality
oh yeah,
Silva or whatever, and then Ferality Luma back in February.
I did
Um,
Luma.
The
Luma
first
was pretty
thing,
fun.
the first I ever went to was virality Luma.
I think
Back, like they
Justice
said,
and I
February.
went together, and that's where we met.
Um,
So it was
I think we
around that
met through an
area.
old set of friends
It's
back
something
in
like that.
2020.
Sorry if I'm yawning a lot. I had a lot of mac
All
and cheese
good.
before I came, and since that is a lot of grain in it, it makes me fucking eepy.
If
Ah!
The
if I yawn,
curly
I do
CP.
apologize. I'll try to mute myself beforehand, but if not, just know I had a rough day at work, so I'm
All
here
good.
now.
Ooh,
That was me
it's fine.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here
And
with doing 19 goddamn units in college.
my
All right, back to the topic.
yeah. To finish my answer, I think sometimes society has a negative opinion on them because, for one, they just don't understand why we have such a high level of serotonin and why we can get along with each other, whereas the rest of everyone else, like, doesn't get along. There's talk of war and such. But even then, it's just like, hey, we're here, we're having fun. Let us have our fun. I mean, if you look into it, we're actually having a lot of fun with these conventions and stuff, and we actually raise up a lot of money.
Yeah. If
Like
I
the
may,
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say the furry community, sum it up as simply as, it is a community where there is no discrimination, there's no racism, no sexism of any
Exactly.
kind. It is all about unity and prosperity, and the likewise, you're entitled to your opinion, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but I have not seen any actual altercations in VR, or even in the furry community.
Ooh, well, you are definitely a lucky one at that if you have not.
I
Um,
have seen,
Yeah.
well,
verbal disputes, of course, but actual
well,
physical
there's a
violence, no.
difference. There's a difference because there are some people that you don't know about that do go to that level. I
Yep.
have, for one, been harassed by somebody like that before. Roxy as well before.
Same here.
We will not speak his name because
It's not
he
important.
deserves a special place in a special place that does not seem special. But, you know, one of many other people, it always happens around. We can't say that there's no discrimination, no nothing. Because, I mean, first of all, that is honestly a little hypocritical because we can't say that. It's like saying that we are perfect people. We're not
Yeah.
all perfect. We make mistakes. We judge people. We, you know, just like every other person out there.
Duly
But
noted.
furries
Uh,
are very welcoming, no matter what. The thing is, it's a weird thin line. It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, other topics that are for other people to review rather than, you know, to be talked about on a talk show. But
yeah.
we are one of the
Um,
most friendly communities aside from the fact that, you know, there's that special side of things. But
and
we are definitely very welcoming,
Mm-hmm.
and
no matter
I was
what.
gonna say, to sum up the uh question as to why does society hold negative perceptions to the
Mm-hmm.
furry community. Well, one that I could sum up in just one quick phrase is they don't understand us.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm,
are misunderstood.
well, can I give my answer on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, aside from the misunderstanding, it's generally what we get portrayed as because of the negative views, the negative things that happen in our
Mm.
community alone. There's a lot of things that are just, you know, very frowned upon, even within the community as well.
Yep.
I mean, it's generally just what people make us known for, but, you know,
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I think you're the
One
only one
bad,
that
you know
has an
what they
answer to
say,
begin
one
with.
bad apple ruins the bunch. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I
yeah,
was
it
just
only
saying, I
takes
think
one link
it
to
only,
make us the weakest, so, you know,
yeah,
sorry.
I think
Mm-hmm.
the only one who hasn't answered the question now is you,
Me?
Em. Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry, my
The
brain is a
question,
little all over the place. What was the question again?
what we were just talking about.
About what makes furries essentially like hated
Yeah,
and stuff?
Why does
furries, what
society
are
have a
they and
negative
why does
opinion?
society sometimes hold never negative perceptions of them?
Now, as I said about that, the one bad apple ruins the whole bunch is why they hated so much. But a majority of what furries are is in at least most of what I have seen, it is anthropomorphic. Sometimes the word's slipping my mind. Quadruped,
Quadruped.
Quadruped?
quadruped.
Yeah.
Yeah, four-legged. Are people who like to represent themselves using avatars or
Yeah.
personas, if you will, as that's usually the term
Mm.
of characters that usually represent a part of themselves. Um, it's hard for me to really pin down. Some people like the sexual aspect of anatomy stuff, which I am
I mean,
not
yeah,
particularly
at
big
that point,
fan of that.
it's just you have to be careful with where you tread on that part, especially if
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Moving on.
There was another small part I wanted to add at the end, but it kind of left my mind. So go ahead.
Um, for you guys that's coming on, like, and you've been on here before, it's like, what do you think of our talk show? Or what do you think of this furry talk show? Should
Sudden
it keep
change of
going or
subject.
like, yeah, it's just how. What do you think of the talk show in general, or if it need to add anything, just bring other guests on, or just what do you think of it?
Well,
All right, who's answering?
okay.
Go ahead, M. You spoke first.
I was gonna
Okay.
say guest variety because
Yeah.
this is the second time I'm on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get
This is
I
the
get that's a
second
little
time I'm
difficult.
here because of the accidental recording mistake that me
The
and
first
them
the
made.
first recording we didn't have audio, me and Blue,
Oh,
Yeah.
great! That
so
sounds
we had to
fun.
scrub it.
That sounds fun.
So as
Anyway,
far as the viewers go, they think this is the first time.
okay. Well, I mean, yeah, for you two at least. For the previous one, I know the one with me was uploaded.
Yes.
Yeah. I had watched a little bit of that one.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that might need to happen. Variety of guests, and
If
hopefully,
more
when more
guests
traction
or
comes
less
to the
guests.
show, more well-known guests, I guess,
Yeah,
for lack of a better way to say it.
I'm trying to get Bubbles on.
Oh, ooh. Trying to get Bubbles on is like trying to get a businessman to sit down for lunch.
Well, to be
Because
fair, he
he
did
is
say he
very
would check
busy.
it out. To be fair, he did say he'd check it out.
Well, yeah, they all say that, but you never know. They're always busy. They're always doing
Sometimes
something.
that's the
They
way.
got a life too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a way to politely decline by just saying you're interested and leaving it at.
Normally,
'Cause
it's like,
that's happened to me before a few
lightly
times.
shrugging it off, like, yeah, I'll check it out and, keep an eye on it. But the opportunity to have them on the show probably won't happen for another several months, because
And I'm
they
okay
have a
with that.
life too. They have to plan a lot. And I mean, as a Twitch streamer who basically does every single day, that's something that, you have to take
He
a
just
break
got
of
through with
every
a
now and then and
subathon.
make time. But, in my opinion, I like the talk show aspect. I like having to be here, sitting talking for a little bit because my videos are made up of basically just, sitting and talking about things, life and aspects and such about that. I mean, the only critique I'd probably give you is the furries question.
Mm.
I mean, it's an okay subject to talk about sometimes, but then again, I feel like having it as a question is trying to subject it as an answer for things that are going on. Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of views on it, but I mean, oh crap, there went my screen again. But just like trying to fix the negative views by saying things like we're positive and stuff like that. That's something that's not going to really be enjoyed. Everything else, like what we do as creators and all this other little stuff, or how we found the fandom, that's something that'll probably be appreciated more than,
Yeah.
like why do we think people look at us negatively? I mean, there's plenty enough of that anyways.
Yeah.
And just gonna close that screen. But there's plenty of other talk shows about that. We'll leave that negative business to them.
Yeah,
We're
we'll just
trying to
leave
make
it to
this as
them.
friendly as possible. Because I mean, like, you know, it, it's just how the show gets portrayed if we keep asking the same question, like, why are we so viewed negatively? And
Yeah, even with each talk, so bleh, with each talk show, I try to vary up the questions and ask different things.
Well, yeah, that's all right. That's not the answer, though. I mean, like,
I know.
that question specifically, I feel like, maybe shouldn't really be discussed about. I mean, you can obviously talk about the community, what we do, or like, how we found it, but when it comes to the negative things, there's plenty enough going around for that
Yeah,
question.
and that's
I'm not
drama.
saying ignore it, but I'm just saying, like, I'd probably move on from it.
Yeah.
Because I know I have a feeling that it's been asked a couple times, and you know, I'm not trying to say I'm trying to be like extremely better and stuff like that, but I'm a peaceful person. I try not to discuss any stuff
Yeah.
like that because you
Yeah.
know
And for good
it's a
reason.
faulty thing. Well,
Okay.
fickle, flimsy.
Well,
It's something.
I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but let's Justice, what do you think of it?
About the talk show, or
Yeah.
well, being my first time here, this is quite unique to me. I have never been in a talk show, first off, let alone been much online in presence of recording.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it, and I'm looking forward to future episodes if you will have me here.
Oh, for sure. I would if it goes well and like if the algorithm goes well, yeah. I may look for getting a co-host on at some point so I can record this more often.
Hey, you could do your husband, Axel.
He was gonna be at one point, but he's asleep right now. Or he's resting his
Ah,
leg.
okay.
But
Probably had a long day at work, I'd wager. Yeah.
well, he's not at work at the moment. He's dealing with a broken leg.
Oh,
Oh,
That's part of the reason
I'm
why I
sorry
made
to
been
the
hear
there,
that. I
intro
actually
early.
didn't
done that.
know.
It's okay. It's part of the reason why I drove so far. It, that aside, hmm, since Blue's in VR chat right now, I asked that question. What is your viewpoint on the virtual reality systems that's coming up and has already came out?
Me,
Well, I mean, it's for everybody, but since you're already
everybody.
there in it,
No, I'll let other people answer. I've already talked enough.
that's part of the talk show. I mean, my personal opinion on virtual reality, I think it's a good concept. I really think it's up and coming, and a lot of people that don't know it as much as the younger generations, they could, if it's explained right, a lot of people could get into it and really make it a good platform to have fun on and chill. Like, as far as everyone getting on the VR scheme, I don't agree with Apple getting on it, but I mean, Apple's going to do Apple.
Yep.
But I think the
Well,
good ones were going to be like the HTC Vive, the Valve Index, and the Quest. Those lines were pretty good. Not, I mean, I've had a Quest myself, and I've had the Index, and I prefer Quest over mobility and the Index over performance.
I like
But
not being strapped to a wire.
I mean, like I said, other people are gonna have different opinions. I mean, I'm just one person.
I
Which is what I'm hoping for later on, that the Vive finds a way to make the Air Link a lot more easier.
You
Because
mean
I
Quest?
I have not. Well, yeah, Quest, but I want to upgrade, of course, because Quest has its limits
Yeah,
apparently,
all of them have
if
and
their limits.
if I
Go ahead.
may, I personally believe I use the Valve Index and Vive
Mm,
trackers. I love the full body aspect of it and the customizability of the index, whether it be face tracking, eye tracking,
yeah,
uh, or etc. I don't mind the Quest, or the Quest 2, or upcoming Quest 3, which will release
the
in what, a
Quest.
month from what I hear.
Yeah, Quest 3
I
is
just
coming
like the
out pretty soon.
portability.
The
I've
Quest
always
Pro has
liked
already come out.
I always liked the idea of the portability of
Mhm.
the VR headset that the Quest offers, but I I am somewhat of a graphics queen when you go to that
Mhm.
route, and I love the performance of the Index. There's the only headset out there that I've ever seen in person that kind of matches the Index, if not is better, is the Pimax 8K.
No, I've not heard about too much.
Pimax, all they make is the headset gear alone, and they have
Hmm.
2 or 3 different models: the 4K, 8K, and 12K. And first off, your 12K is 270-degree field of view.
Oh yeah.
Almost everything around you. I might have
So
gotten that degree wrong, but you can see from if you're holding your arms out beside you, you can see 180 degrees guaranteed.
yeah, and you can a
But
little past that behind you, so kind of like real life.
yep, but am I willing to put the cash down on it, considering they're about $2,400 if I remember
Jesus.
correctly? Yeah.
Oh,
That aside, Emerald is someone who hasn't been in VR at all, is right?
no, I have VR.
Oh, you have
I
it.
just
Okay.
don't use it that much.
Well, what do you think
I
of
have a
it?
Quest 2, and I have the cable plugged into my computer 90% of the time, so it really doesn't matter to me. I just don't use it that often because, well, I don't really have people who invite me to VR stuff that much.
I have 1,415 hours in here.
Cool.
I have about
So
700.
I
I take
also don't.
photos, so
I also
yeah.
only have half body, so most
Hmm.
people don't find me interesting to hang out with because I don't have the money to spend on full body.
I don't have
I
it
got
Nor
this
do
either.
I
for your
have the
birthday,
space. I'm
buddy.
in a fucking college dorm.
That is
Dude, I'm pretty
probably
sure you
the
have a bigger room than I do. I have literally just a simple box of space.
What's this? What's the footage? Like
Footage.
size, square
Uh,
feet, square meters, whatever the hell you use.
uh,
How big is your
1,
bed?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Because I live in a double.
7, 7, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4,
And off screen
5,
they go.
6, 7.
There he goes.
7 by 7. That's about as much room as I get.
7 footsteps for you.
Uh,
Do you know how big
yeah.
your feet are? Because I have essentially the size of my desk right here,
They're a little under 12
plus my bed,
inches.
because they're both back to
12
back to
feet.
each other right
12,
now.
so
Okay.
24 foot is what you're
Almost.
saying.
So
It's
I
10
don't
and a
have any
half.
actual movement
Well,
places to
I
go.
am not
Okay.
exactly sure. Shoe sizes are weird. Trying to find shoes anymore is like, hey, you can either go a size above or a size under or a little bit in between. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a little bit in between of the above. So
Yes.
I don't know. Anyways,
Yep.
it's
shoe
less.
sizes.
It's less than 7 foot, so it's about like maybe
Hey, at least you
6.
have somewhere to move around. I actually have literally nowhere to move around.
Like I got my bed there, my desktop's over there. I got my dresser right
The,
here,
the most
closet, basket, bunch of
Okay,
crap basically.
the most
Yeah.
movement I can do is just leaning back in my desk
Uh,
chair, and then I
go ahead.
almost don't
Hang on.
hit the
Go ahead,
halfway
Justice.
mark of the room.
I was gonna say,
So
let's try to get back on topic here.
yes,
Wait, what are we talking about?
Virtual
the
reality.
VR.
Right,
I was
VR.
thinking of
I
getting Slime VR because I heard that was going to be a cheap, full body.
It is pretty
I
cheap.
personally believe there is nothing but positives in when it comes to virtual reality. We're still very early in development, of course, but
Yeah.
give it 15, 20 years down the range, it should be very, very high off and very good at that point.
That's true.
I would say games like VR Chat are some of the pioneers into the virtual reality world. You have different other virtual reality games like
Yeah.
Pavlov. I'm gonna reference that, even though I don't play it. Is the
And then
start
there's
to shooters.
yeah. Like There's a
Yep.
lot of games that have transferred their content into virtual reality. Some of them it's went well with virtual reality, and others have
I will
not. Like
I
Among
will
Us.
say, um, if you are to make a virtual reality game, in my personal opinion, you need to make a game from scratch. Don't make a port, because I have not seen very many ports work good when it comes to virtual reality. I'm
Now I haven't
gonna
either.
refrain. I'm gonna refrain from naming titles here. On that bad
Among
note.
Us.
Let me guess. Resident Evil 4.
Proceeds to draw a
Fallout,
list.
Skyrim,
Oh, Skyrim.
anything
Yeah, I've heard that
Bethesda
was a
made.
terrible port.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if they made Arma in virtual reality, it wouldn't be very good either.
All right.
Imagine
That game is very,
TF2 in
very.
virtual reality.
Now that we're kind of on the topic of games, what is y'all's favorite game and why?
Well, my favorite game kind of. Are you wanting a specific game or a game genre here?
And whatever you want to name off.
Right now, I'm back into racing games. It's either between Forza Horizon or Ride. Ride is a MotoGP racing game.
All right, Blue.
I definitely did not make this my personality for like a week straight. That I definitely beat the game within a
Hmm.
week. What am I doing with my life?
The last Zelda I played was
A lot
Twilight
of VR
Princess.
as well. You're
So
doing with your life.
The last
Apparently,
Zelda
I know. I've
played,
been here for hours, so
the
not
last
really. I've just
Zelda
been
I
here for.
played was
An hour.
the one on the one before that's current.
Breath of the Wild.
The one before that.
So this is Tears of the Kingdom.
Skyward Sword.
So you would say Breath of the Wild.
Or yeah, Breath of the Wild. That's the last one I played.
Yes.
The one that
Breath of
came
the
out on
Wild
Wii
was
U and Switch.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was very pretty game, but Tears of the Kingdom out knocks Breath of the Wild by tenfold practically.
okay, my favorite.
It uses the same overworld, I hear, but I never got into Breath of the Wild, so.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
Go ahead, Justice.
The last one I played was Twilight Princess, but my favorite still is
Good
a
game.
classic of the classics.
Oh.
2002 or 2003 Nintendo GameCube's Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I hate the Wind Waker with a passion.
Why?
Why?
And Majora's Mask with a
Why?
passion. Well, first off, I'm bad with timers, and second off, well, there's just a lot of ocean.
Wow.
Fair.
I know that's pretty biased, but look, I feel like Wind Waker
So
could have
next,
done a
something
whole
tells me
lot
you hated
better with the
Hoenn as
story.
well.
Wait, what?
Something tells me you hated Hoenn in Pokemon as well.
I never played Pokemon. I was a Zelda kid.
There was a lot of
Through and
water in Hoenn. IGN literally said too much water.
Too much water. Yeah, fair enough.
See, I've
But
always liked
like,
sailing games.
I feel
so.
like Wind Waker could have done a whole lot better with their storyline and everything, just like Tears of the Kingdom as well. I mean, that definitely was pretty cool, but the storyline with Tears of the Kingdom was like, hey, let's make the timeline and then rip it into pieces. Period.
All right.
No matter.
The
That's
best
it.
Zelda game, in your opinion.
Zelda never really had a definitive one.
Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, the top two
Yes.
games. Period.
Ocarina of Time is my favorite.
I loved Ocarina of Time. I mean, every song from there I memorized and probably still have memorized. I played it on piano and everything. It was my life, basically.
In my opinion, it would be the Twilight Princess is number one. And number two, I never played the Ocarina of Time. Mine was going to be The Legend of Zelda: Four Swords.
Ooh.
Eh.
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 I have very strong opinions when it comes to like Four Swords and Triforce Heroes and other kind of things where they split Link into separate pieces and stuff, or even Minish Cap at that point.
Yeah.
But you know,
Minish Cap was a good game, from what I hear. I've never
Spirit
played a lot of
Tracks.
Zelda
Oh my
games.
God, we need that back.
Right.
Please,
No,
please
we need
bring
Wolf Link
Spirit
back.
Tracks.
For my
We need
favorite
Wolf
games,
Link back. Period.
for my favorite games,
What
it
the
would have
dog doing?
okay.
Sorry. Go on.
For my favorite games, I'd have to switch gears on it and say Kingdom Hearts and Star Wars.
Kingdom
Those are my
Hearts was so
favorites.
so
Which Star
hard to
Wars?
follow.
Huh?
Go with
Who
the
said
Star Wars question.
Which
uh,
Star Wars?
Star Wars? Any and all of them.
Lego Star Wars, best Star Wars, period. Anyways, back to Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is just so hard to follow. You have to actually play the games from start to finish to actually
Yes.
understand it. You can't start somewhere in the middle and be like, "Oh yeah, I get this."
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
I played all of the games. The only one I haven't played was 2.8, but I mean, that's the only one I haven't played. I've played the rest of them.
and
Uh,
Sora in Smash Bros, even though he's a trash character, he is way too overpowered. And he has like the jump worse than Kirby. Which I mean by that I mean like triple the size of Kirby at that point. Um, but I've been through a lot of games. I mean, aside from Zelda's standpoint, because I make this my life at this minute, um, I grew up a lot with Star Fox, which
Mm.
was probably one of my favorite games to ever play. I would always do the hard route to try and see how quick I could get through it, and never go through the sun.
I think our last question would have to be like, what are your favorite foods?
Spaghetti.
Well, that was quick.
I didn't even
cheeseburgers
get
and
to
chicken
answer my
wings.
favorite. I didn't even get to answer my favorite game, but I think you might have already known that.
Yeah, it was in the last episode, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I mean, like I said,
we got
what is
Spagooter.
everybody's favorite food?
Well,
I think
mine
he
would
likes
have
eating TikTok, judging by his shirt. You had to look.
It tastes like Lucky Charms. It's magically depressing.
Oh,
mine would
Yeah.
have
okay
to be
Come
then.
out. Oh,
cheeseburgers. Either that or chicken wing. I love a good chicken.
Chicken wings, they're okay for me. I just can't have them with the texture.
imagine having chicken anywhere in your town that you can actually eat without like knowing that there's been food poisoning several times in that place.
Uh,
Yay!
I have a KFC. The place that I work at makes chicken sandwiches, and they are absolutely disgusting.
The
for me,
Local
closest
rat time to
place
the
that
KFC
makes
deep fryer.
the
Man, I
my
wish we had a
closest place to
Chick-fil-A.
me that makes chicken wings is about 46,
Yay,
47
Chick-fil-A
minutes away.
homophobia.
wow, that's a ways
Look, I
away.
get the fact that Chick-fil-A has a history of
On a motorcycle is fine.
homophobia
They
and
still do it. They
yeah, I
support
know they still do
anti-LGBT
it.
shit.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't care. I never see a single dime for the LGBT support, you know. I don't. I wish I
I don't
did. I
either.
probably need it. I need the money. But yeah, they make good chicken.
For me, my favorite kind of food would have to be anything Italian. I absolutely love fettuccine alfredo. That's one of my favorite Italian dishes.
Wrong
Besi-
answer.
But
So
I
from
get,
what I
I get.
understand,
Dumbass, don't do that to her.
Roxy and
Hmm,
Blue, you guys just live at Olive Garden.
no,
Olive Garden sucks.
I beg to differ.
I just
I
like the fact that there was a couple seconds of silence in that.
Like, you ain't gotta put them on blast.
Olive Garden is okay. I just don't. It's not my preferred Italian. There's a place down where I used to live that was really good. With there was like it was really good Italian food, like the best I had ever found.
Maggiano's.
I,
Maggiano's is my favorite so far.
I'd have to find somewhere up here where I'm living now that's really good with Italian food.
I
Yeah,
actually knew a,
Maggiano's was my favorite because not only is their spaghetti good, but oh my god, their garlic bread.
Oh yes, I will kill for
They
some
they
garlic
had
bread.
like this round thing of garlic bread. They cut it into like quilt cuts, basically. I'm gonna call it
Ooh.
quilt cuts because it looks like little squares. But they had like goat cheese, Parmesan cheese on it. They had melted
Ooh.
garlic, and it's just
Ooh.
You're
That
making
remind
me hungry over here.
that reminds me of back in my hometown. I actually knew, or my mom indirectly knew the owner of a Maggiano's in my hometown. So that is a very close Zoom.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
But that is nice to
Yeah.
know
well, it's
the
been fun
people there.
talking with all of you. I gotta get
Die.
headed off so I can
So you can
charge my
film more
headset.
TikTok.
All right.
Well,
Well,
probably not
with that,
TikToks, but work on things.
with that, I'll probably go ahead and end the recording session. It's a bit
Hey, only
shorter.
30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit on the shorter side this time,
Oh well.
That's all right.
which
Makes
is
it
all right.
decent. A good 30 minutes
Well,
to sit and listen to
I'll
us
yeah.
rant.
I'll
Well,
see.
you two really, mostly you two.
I'll have
'cause
these
I
guys'
don't
links
know
in the
what to say.
description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and all the good stuff. Subscribe, like, and all that. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Keep your pants on.
You can find me on YouTube. It's
Don't
probably
worry,
easier.
don't worry. Blue didn't
Aside
have
from
pants
TikTok.
on. It's evidenced by a couple seconds ago when it zoomed out and he had no
Shut
pants
up.
on.
Alright.
I could pan the camera down and show that I have pants on.
Bye.
Does this work?
My
Au
God.
revoir, les